Yeah. Wow. Grow up. Grow up.
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits. Coming to you from the Recycle Garage here in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, this is Liza, and I now have my post Vintage Days voice. My voice has come back.
Yeah, you don't have rally voice.
I don't have
as Phil's wife says. Called it.
I did have yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, you've got rally voice. It feels like
yeah, you guys, we met Merritt, Phil's wife, and she's real and she's hot.
Yeah,
she's pretty awesome.
I've seen pictures.
She's hotter in person.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and she's very flexible and hot.
Oh wow!
They are great together.
Yeah,
it's like it's funny watching like a dynamic duo team doing dynamic duo team things.
All right, and I think John's. You check your mic, John.
Check.
Okay, we're good. Hey everyone, as I said, this is Liza. We're a little punchy. We're spread out all over. We've been doing things. So let's get to who is here. And joining me, you don't look, oh no, yeah. He's a little sweat ball. It's Stumpy John.
Hey everybody, how are you? Love the one.
Stumpy. I really like that bike, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, the XT225.
It's a little taller
cool
now.
Bike. It's a cool bike.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
All
and
right.
On the Classy Girl couch, not all by himself, because he does have Little the Chihuahua with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's Knock.
What's up, you dumb bitch?
You're not talking to Little, are you?
That's what you say when you meet
Little loves
meet
you.
your date's mom, huh?
I should have pulled that out later. Wow, this is horrible.
Oh yeah, that was something I got for my birthday.
This is so not you though.
Uh-huh. Well, I also got a Evil Knievel poster, so that makes up for it.
Well, I mean, it's representative. There's like cut and uncut versions.
And
circumcised and uncircumcised versions. Is that
so?
Also for my birthday, thanks to Shana Michelle, I got it's a tin of this goop, and it's a dough, and it's dill flavored. It's dildo.
Oh,
yummy!
Oh,
Yeah.
Not.
Is that a real thing, or are you trying to be funny?
No, I got it in the other room.
Is it a
I got
sourdough?
dildo.
I don't believe you.
I will show
when you wanna.
taking advantage of the seat near the open window.
Yes.
But remember to pass all open windows. It's Naked Jim.
Hey, relax, just do it. That's what my thing is. Also, me and Mike started a new motorcycle club in the mountains the other weekend. Oh, I see what you're gonna do.
What's it called? I want to.
It's called
Sure you did.
the Return to Sender MC. And our motto is proper fucked
That's your
Return
motto.
to Sender.
from the Brad Pitt movie. Proper
Does
fucked.
it involve a CRF450 with a busted subframe?
It just involves us sending it and being returned to sender. Proper fucked.
Oh God!
Still doing
Well,
the
before
introduction.
the Germans get here.
Yeah, exactly.
And there he is, joining us from the safety of his own home. It's Douglas.
Hi.
wow.
Whoa!
Wow. And then the internet went out.
Doug turned into dubstep for.
No, that's what he's doing.
He disappeared.
And then lastly is somebody very special. In fact, I want to congratulate this person and induct them into this very special club that only a few of us are members of.
He's a real G.
Bagel, I want to welcome you to the Custer Chalet Club.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. What are the qualifications?
they got you
for
on
that?
video too, huh?
You have to go stay at the chalet in Custer, South Dakota.
Oh, nice dude.
It was wonderful.
Yes. Jim and John and I, and now Bagel have all stayed there.
All
But
right.
please call
All
me.
right. Sorry about that.
But please call me Bagel 2000.
B2K.
B2K, son.
Hell yeah,
B2K.
dude.
So let's just start with what went on in the shop today. Because John, you ran the shop today.
I took the bullet.
You did. You stepped out.
Jim came by and gave me
Poor
the
man.
finger. He didn't think he gave me the finger, but he did.
That was you. It was all the way from the street. I thought it was Jeremy.
Jeremy told me he
No,
saw
you gave him the finger too.
Oh, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
Jeremy's like, I think I saw Jim on his black Africa twin. He gave me the finger.
Yeah, that was me, and he's waving.
So, John, did you get anything done in the garage today?
Yeah, we got some. I mean, Cooper came down and worked on his piece of poop Ducati that he bought for $500, which is not even worth $500.
Dude, it's $500.
A $500 Ducati.
It's a 50,000 mile Ducati. Hasn't ran in 2 years. and
Oh,
it's just-
well, it's gonna need stuff. for
yeah, it's
sure.
gonna
It's a-
more than it's worth.
It's a $500 finger taker offer with that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I
isn't
like
it?
exposed belts though. Looks pretty neat.
So he worked on that, and then a young lady named I forgot her name. Ellie came
Yeah.
through,
Mhm.
and she had a real,
Oh, Ellie was here today.
yeah, she had a super nice 250 Rebel.
She had a
Super
Rebel,
clean.
yeah.
yeah, and needed some just adjustments. Needed her rear shocks adjusted, and needed some adjustments on her handlebars. So we were happy to do that. It was
Nice.
easy for me to do. And I worked on my own bike. I worked on a little XT 225. I put a rear shock on it that
I
helps.
saw the old shock out there,
Yeah.
man. Hell yeah. How does it feel?
Oh, it's like a world of difference. It's
Yeah.
taller now, and it's just
Awesome.
less bottomed out.
Nice.
So I'm gonna do the springs next week.
Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're gonna ride that thing around. You're gonna start noticing. Oh yeah, the front needs to really get done.
Yeah.
Like it's highlights the.
took me 4 months to get the parts.
Oh really?
Insane.
Is it from?
Wow.
Where'd those parts come from?
They had everything came from Europe. I couldn't find anything in the
Yeah,
U.S. So the
that
shock is
sounds
a
about
Hagon. It came from
Hagon.
Britain, and it's a Cogent front end. But for some reason, I had to order it through.
Oh,
That's
That's
interesting.
crazy.
Supply chain, it's real. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm seeing all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm turning to eBay again because sometimes eBay
Yeah.
guys have, like I've been looking for stuff, and goody, eBay dude in Wisconsin has it. You know,
Yeah, Phil was telling us the problem is there's a lot of time shipping now too because there's not enough
Mhm.
truckers to carry stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I work in the tire business, and trying to get tires delivered with trucks, it's completely fucked up right now.
yeah,
Like, I got people waiting for tires, and yeah, the entire trucking industry is it's messed up.
yep.
Everything is. But that didn't stop somebody in this room from getting a new bike this weekend.
Yeah.
Which everyone is
Yeah.
excited about.
Yeah,
You would think
Yes.
helicoptered in.
I know, right? Very exciting.
So, Jim, what'd you get?
So I finally stepped up and got a big boy dirt bike, and I got the 2022 CRF
Wow.
It's from the
450
future.
RL from the future.
Mm.
All right.
So they're mixing the R and the L now.
Yes.
Yes.
That's going to confuse a lot of Honda heads.
So explain RL.
So I guess Honda felt the need to differentiate it a little bit because it was just such a badass. They couldn't just call it an L. So they started with an RL. So there's really not much of a difference. It's still, basically a competition based bike with turn signals on it. The only difference really from the two bikes is they fine-tuned the ECU and the fuel injection a little bit more. And then they did some things to quiet it down, some things to the swing arm, some little bit like rubber stuff on the rear sprocket. So some neat things to quiet it down.
Oh yeah.
But you were
But basically same bike with better fuel injection.
You were so stoked, even just looking at the welds on the license plate bracket.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Like, well, if Emma was here, we'd talk, they make these in Japan. So, it's one of their flagship bikes. And you look at the welds on the thing. And that was one of the things I noticed because it has this big kind of, license plate holder, like
Yeah.
dual sports do from the,
Well, it's aluminum.
Is it aluminum?
but the
Yeah.
welds
Oh, shit.
were so well done and so
Mhm.
burly on the license plate holder. I was like, holy moly. But you look at it's a competition R, frame, dual
Yeah.
spar frame, whatever. But the quality of the bike's a whole different level than the CRF450RL Rally that I've been riding.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, I can't wait
yeah.
to see it.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I've got it in the shed and covered.
So you're saying it's
Me either.
you just got it. There's like less than 600 miles on it before breaking and all that.
Literally, I got it with 2 miles on it. So it's the first motorcycle I've bought new,
Mhm.
right? Which is really kind of cool.
You've bought practically new bikes
I've-
before.
87 miles.
Yeah.
I bought. That was with the 250. But yeah, and I got it down in Gilroy Motorcycle Center.
Yeah,
And
those guys are killing it this season.
first experience with them, and just shout out. I didn't really think about it, but John down there, great service, prompt. They got a ton of bikes down there at the moment. I guess in the springtime, like a lot of guys, they had some problems, but not right now.
They're
So
actually
Gilroy, not Hollister.
Gilroy.
Um,
It
That's-
actually
what's
extended,
yeah.
too.
what's the MSRP on that bike?
$9,999.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so it
about-
was I want to say 11.5-ish out the door.
That's about like the going rate for a performance-oriented dirt bike dual sport these days, especially in that displacement size.
Yeah, unless you step up to the European stuff, and then you're going,
11 something.
a lot more. Yeah.
Well, and why did you feel the need for this?
Oh, right. So this went back
Because
because
Right.
yeah. Well, when I went with Mike last weekend, we were up in the Sierras for 4 days, and great riding. We were riding through burned out national forest.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, creek fire, 380,000 acres by Lake Huntington. But anyway, it was us and Justin. They were on the European 500s, and I was on the 250. And there was some real sandy, loamy stuff. Basically, a combination of sand and burned forest floor. It was like a gray, loamy ash. And like if you put your kickstand in it, your kickstand would just go as far as it would go. So anyway, they were able to kind of like muscle up this real loose stuff until you got to some rock, and then get up to this beautiful outcropping. And I got like a third of the way up, and the wheel just buried, and the little 250 just had no gas at all. So
yeah,
it's a lot more fun on top of the cliff than the dude down at the bottom.
I want to give you some credit, if I may. A lot of people, they buy a bike that they think is cool or that really surpasses their abilities. You've been very smart in your motorcycle purchases career. You started with a 250 Nighthawk and then worked your way up to, big, leader bikes. But you started with a 250. And then on the dirt bike, you started with a 250 until you outgrew it, until your ability outgrew the bike you were riding. And then you jumped up. And that's really, I think, smart.
That was a 230 though, wasn't it?
It was a TTR.
TTR 230.
That was the one I had for the kids. I had that KLX 250 too.
Oh, okay.
When I smoked in
That's
Hollister.
right.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. It's either that or being chicken. I think much of one is the other.
No, I think you really did it the right way. You should really outgrow your bike's ability before you move up to a bigger bike, because you're getting your money's worth
Yeah.
out of these bikes.
I did that 250 rally, man. It was like the Merkin. It might be little, but it covered a lot of ground. I mean, it's only got a guy less than 8,000 miles, but they're all dual sport, right, Liza? And we rode in.
Shoot, my 250 I don't think it broke 1,000 miles on it before I had to sell it.
And then it got broken. But yeah, we rode all over. I've ridden a ton in the desert too on that bike. So it definitely was,
Well, here's the crazy thing. It's yet to be proven, but how much did you pay for your 250 rally?
$5,000 out the door.
How much are you listing it for sale now?
$5,000.
Yeah.
You could totally get it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fucking
So check it out.
Totally
I was talking to the guys at the motorcycle shop, and again, the guys Gilroy were awesome. They had the bike. I told them I'm just going to come do it. They already had the bike prepped and everything, real easy to deal with. Help me load it. They said they're seen online. Guys are buying new bikes from them and flipping them on Craigslist and making money.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
What? Like brand new bikes?
Brand new bikes, flipping brand new bikes. Well, that's why I swooped on this one, because
shit.
it was the only one I could find close by. And when I talked to him, he goes, yeah, we had 4, and this is the last one. And that's our allotment for the year. So
that's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's a hot market for sure. So yeah, I'll do okay. And the FC6 is finally going up for sale. So
yeah, well, when I was watching on YouTube SRK Cycles, and he's like, I'm going to stop at this shop. There's a bike I've been looking for. It's really hard to find. I called around for 100 miles. No one had it. And I found this one shop that said, yeah, guy had us order it, never came in to get it. If you can come here right now, it's all yours. And he shows up, and it's a Honda Hunter Cub 125. And I'm like, this is the unobtainium. So Phil had one in Ohio that we got to ride, which was decked out with every farkle, every guard, basket, holder, roto pack, everything. I mean, it looked really cool.
2K worth of upgrades, just like aesthetic upgrades with like foot pegs and fucking bungee attachment bungs and shit like that.
No, it looked really cool, but I won't say that it was like an amazing bike to ride.
No.
Which is why it's so crazy that the bikes are so unobtainium. But congratulations.
yeah, it's exciting. I'm stoked. You know what's cool?
Yeah,
too?
that's rad, dude.
Yeah, when I was there, I got to go back and talk to the tech who was setting the bike up. You know, seat was off, and he was going through dotting all the stuff and dotting the bolts. So it was nice to chat with him, and that way, he kind of put a face to a name and told him, hey, we're going to get a podium with this one, right? And yeah, he's like, oh man.
So how many bikes do you have now, Jim?
Well, I'm narrowing it down to.
Are you counting with engines?
Well, no,
No, a bike's a bike.
Well, I'm blowing the FC6 and the CRF250 should be out the door this week. So after those, the bikes will really be the Africa Twin, CRF450, and then
F1.
my FC1. And then I got
And the Ascot.
TTR 125.
the Ascot
And the
project
Ascot.
bike, and then
Yep.
the Ascot 125 for fucking
And
around on the
then
track.
and then
No, I sold the 225 to Mike's friend. So
Yeah.
the
Okay.
loaner bike is in someone else's hands.
And see, I completely support that. That's kind of my thing. Like every bike has to have a separate function,
yeah.
purpose, it
Mhm.
be different.
True.
And as long as you can maintain them and
It's helpful.
need them, that's very smart. Well, I want to talk about the big thing that we did last weekend. So Knock, John, and Bagel and I all went to Ohio for AMA Vintage Days.
Ohio.
Yep.
Knock, how many
Sorry
have you been
guys,
to now?
I'm having technical difficulties. I'm gonna
30.
let you guys tell this story and I'll be back with you.
Okay.
Okay. I think
I have no video or anything.
All right. See you, Doug.
Yeah,
So
let's see.
I'll be back. Thank you.
So how many have you been to, Knock?
This is my third.
So was this the best?
This was undoubtedly the best one.
There it is.
I mean,
The way
it's-
Knock looks on the couch, he's looking very Ohio at the moment. He just looks, he's got the way he's
Yeah,
holding
yeah.
his beverage and kind of hanging. He's
And-
looking, yeah.
Bagel, how many have you been to?
This will be my third as well.
And would you say this was the best?
I think this is the very first one I went to was pretty damn good, but yeah, this one was, I think, just it was bigger than any of the ones we had before, wilder than any of the ones we had before. It was
Mhm.
just it was superior, yes.
And I'll agree. I thought it was the best. And John, it was your first, so
It's
we
the best
know.
one I've ever been to.
Best one you've ever been to.
It was peak motorcycle energy, I think, as far as Ohio goes or something. You know.
So here's a little behind the scenes for the AMA Vintage Days, which we've talked about so much. Phil at Cleveland Motor talked so much. They could not commit to this. They could not schedule things, plan things until COVID restrictions lifted. So it
Mhm.
was basically about 2-3 months ago they started planning this event. Short-staffed, low on resources, and they managed to pull it together. It grew bigger than they expected. In fact, everyone was saying, even though the numbers weren't in, largest attendance they've ever had. So there's a lot of potential for it to be kind of out of control or to grow too fast and them not to have the resources. But I just want to say AMA did an amazing job.
They killed it this year.
They killed it. There were less like vendors on the infield, but the swap meet was full. There were less test rides than before. Royal
Definitely.
Enfield and Honda were there. There was less of stuff, but it was filled in by the people having fun. And
I'm trying to think. Like, did they have more trail riding area? Because it seems like there were
I didn't even
sections
know
where-
that was there.
Yeah, there were sections that were just completely crazy and fucked up, and like I don't think I've ever seen before.
There was a whole section. There's a
Mhm.
world of trail riding in the back of the track that I discovered for the first time, including a Widowmaker hill climb, which we'll
Yeah.
get to later.
Mhm.
I love the fact that you guys hyped up this trip so much leading up to it, and then it still surpassed any
yeah.
expectation of how
Oh,
awesome
well,
AMA can be.
I'll tell you
The
why.
Vintage
Like I
Days.
was saying, the people there, everybody, and I think we all agreed it could have been a shit show.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't.
Mhm.
This was a self-governed utopia.
It's
Right?
the Burning Man of the motorcycle world.
Even
It's
the
the Burning
shitters
Man.
were cooperating.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was one thing. The honey trucks came around more
Yeah.
frequently, so that was good.
They did great.
They did great. There was, the barrel racing was off the hook.
So John did you do any barrel racing?
Oh, I did. Yes.
What was your weapons of choice?
What did I ride? I think I rode the little SR.
The SSR.
SSR
Oh.
125. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, he was cackling.
I bet you were killing
that
it.
thing is so much fun.
How was the
Oh,
dirt?
yeah.
Was it wet?
Well,
or is
no,
it-
here's the deal. When we got there, so thanks to Phil, he figured out a trick. If you get $100 swap meet spot, you get to.
You probably shouldn't say this then.
No, he figured out the trick. He had a swap meet spot. You get to get in early to set it up.
Nice.
Yep.
And because we were there doing things, I was running film festival stuff like that. We got to get in early and stake our spots, and the AMA had saved some spots for us. So we got in there before the masses.
Yeah, we
right?
pulled the old do you know who I am routine.
We did. It was all green, lush grass. The
Yeah,
campgrounds,
it was nice.
the barrel
Awesome.
racing area, everything was lush green
It's
grass.
beautiful country.
Then it got tilled.
Yeah.
It got to it. Yeah.
And even like where they did the motocross track, they didn't do that till Saturday night. They went out there with a bulldozer and
Yep.
dozed it
Just-
and made it out of just a
just
big
all of
green
a sudden.
field.
Mhm.
Just suddenly.
That's awesome.
It was there. But so when John
What's
first
that baseball movie? Don't they build a thing
Yeah.
overnight?
yeah, build it and they come. John was out there just on nice grass. And then by that night, as more and more people, like when John hit it, it was him and a bunch of little kids.
Maybe
And so he was
Oh,
just cackling,
the
having
raptor,
fun.
the raptor kids.
they beat me.
Oh my God.
No,
Oh, we'll talk about
yeah,
them.
we'll get to them.
But then as more and more people getting out there, was really wearing it down. And then it started making all the furrows in the corners and made it like this legit real track, which for people who are going out there on go-karts or something, like they were flipping them.
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
they weren't sliding.
But
very
that's the
well.
thing too. There were so many close calls,
Yeah.
but no accidents.
That could be almost a motto for Vintage Days.
So close.
So many close calls. Another thing that they did new this year that I really liked on Friday night, because it's the 50th anniversary of On Any Sunday, they had a pop-up big screen in a field over by the entrance, so near the
Mhm.
motocross track. And
They just forgot the Viagra.
yeah, so they well, look at it. They had one of those inflatable screens and then a sound system. And Todd Huffman, who came on our show, he was there with the Mitchell brothers. They're producing it and going into the theaters. And so we were hanging out with them,
Mhm.
which was really cool. And all these people came out on their bikes and just sat down on blankets in the
Mhm.
field and
Yeah,
were
it was
watching
great.
the movie. And then the breaker went, and the whole screen flattened.
Oh, it's so
And since
sad.
we're sitting with the guys who are running it, we like see Todd get up and run over to the screen. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably this, it's probably that. He gets it going, gets the screen up. But when the breaker went, it knocked out his file on his computer and the audio went.
Yeah, corrupt.
So
that's a
he
bummer.
kept trying to play it, and it's like audio in and out, and he's sweating bullets. This is when I'm like, well, I better help. So I go running
Liza
back
stomped
there.
over here like, I'm going to go
I
save the
better
day.
take over.
That's not at all like Liza.
it is.
Gotta swing my dick around a little bit. Yeah, why not?
Hey, I held a flashlight. Okay.
Close enough.
But Todd was smart enough that he had a backup DVD that he put in. And we got the film going again. And everyone goes
Nice.
back. It's like, cool. All right, we're back in. And it's going. It's going to go about another 20 minutes. And like, goes down. And then like everyone aborted mission at this point. They just all got
Aw.
up and started leaving. So we never even
That's
finished it.
sad.
That's a bummer.
But it was a great moment of everyone sitting out in the field. And I
Yeah.
think that will be hopefully a new tradition of doing a movie
That would be
out
great.
there. It was really nice.
Sounds awesome.
Let's talk about I think everybody's nemesis, the unicorn
Oh,
girls.
the unicorn girls.
Ah,
They were menacing,
They were scary.
they were awesome.
very scary.
Have you ever seen an infant kickstart a dirt bike? You can at Vintage Days.
If you ever been run off the road by 4 girls on one single dirt bike, you can do that.
at
There
Vintage
were
Days.
4 girls. Apparently, they're a family, and they also had a little brother there. I want to say the age range was like,
I'm saying like 12 to 6.
yeah, like 6
Something
to
like that.
12,
Yeah,
maybe 6 to
young.
11, something like that.
They didn't give a fuck, dude. It was
No,
awesome.
they
It was
did.
And they
so
were
good.
all wearing matching. They were like bicycle helmets with unicorns on top,
That's
Uh-huh.
right?
awesome.
Right?
It's like a
And
mohawk. But
they
it's like
had-
shaped like a unicorn.
They had a golf cart, and they were running people off the road in their golf cars.
They were.
They all had like little dirt bikes, and they were knocking people off the track Like they're riding in short shorts and Vans,
Mhm.
and they were hauling
like-
ass, all of them. And like that wasn't enough. Then they started riding 2 up on pit bikes
Yeah.
and
Still
still
Two up
passing
and three
people.
up, yep.
Still passing people. Oh no, that wasn't enough.
Fearless.
And there's a picture of them riding 4 up on a dirt bike on the barrel
Look,
barrel racing.
No way.
4 up.
If
Oh
the
my God.
AMA doesn't make that a commemorative T-shirt, that image, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Or even
They need
a bronze
they do it.
plaque.
Something, dude. They needed that.
Yeah.
Life-size
I-
bronze
I-
There's
statue.
you find-
There's the picture.
Yeah, you got to throw that over to
Oh
them.
my God. I can see it from here.
They
That's
were amazing.
Brilliant.
They were great riders. I mean, when you see like these kids and you go like, oh, this is our future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do
But
not want
they-
to mess with that little
and
posse.
Their
No, you don't want to
parents,
mess with
yeah,
them.
4 up on a dirt bike. Their parents were so proud of them. Their mom was there and just letting them have free reign. And they were,
That's great.
This is pretty
That's
pretty
good
G
kid stuff.
picture, man. It's pretty gangster.
Yeah.
oh, they were having the time of their life.
They come by in the golf cart by the camp and start screaming and yelling, "Ah!" When they come by the camp. They kind of made my whole week because they were just like pure like
when you
fun.
have an
Yeah.
8-year-old who's passing dudes on 2 strokes, and it was like
I think
Awesome.
you should
Fearless.
replace
in a little unicorn helmet.
they ought to replace honor student stickers with just stickers of these guys.
They became
Like-
everyone's heroes. A lot of people were posting pictures of them. So shout out to the unicorn girls. They were awesome.
4 up on the dirt bike.
4 up on a dirt bike. I did the film festival there. That was great. I felt a little bad because I bumped the AMA with my film festival because I finished my time slot, but no one came in to do anything in the tent and there were still people hanging out. So I just started playing another run of movies. And then all the AMA people came to do their talk, but they're like, there's people watching and we don't want to interrupt them. They were doing like their legislative update. No one really cared. And so they just left.
Oh.
Like, oh, that was nice.
Oh.
But should we talk about some of the better moments? I think us finding all those trails back there were amazing.
Yeah, the trails were
Yeah.
something else.
So we're having a lot of fun just meeting people, doing stuff. But things really heated up on Saturday. So we had Phil's group there, and then we had Swiggy and MotoGP from Nokomoto.
Yeah, those guys
Yeah.
went
Then we had-
ham.
oh,
Those guys
Jim.
went ham.
we had like
One
100
of many
yards of property of
Yeah.
camping spaces.
Oh my God. That's rad.
Like it was
Were you at the edge of the field or in the
at
middle?
the edge of the field.
Oh, so yeah, the spot.
Yeah. So at one
How,
point,
how did they have the party corner?
Oh, yeah.
full.
Oh, yeah.
full.
How close to that were you?
Not very
Like-
far.
like
We were,
halfway.
closer than I remember.
Close enough
Yeah.
to not be able to
If you had
sleep.
that big of a swath of
Yeah.
camping area.
So at one point we were just killing time and riding our bikes around because every time I go there, like, is there anything else I haven't discovered yet?
Mhm.
You know, like I have my secret bathroom on the 3rd floor of the
Oh, yeah.
tower. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I have
that's a
all
good
my
one.
little. I like to know about all the things. So John and I were riding, and we went to like the furthest edge of the track, and found a off on the corner, a hill climb off in the distance that you could see in the distance. Hey, Doug, you got some
Yeah.
bad audio coming through. Just making
Uh,
some noise.
Yeah, this is a new computer to me, so I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll just bring it down a little bit. So it was off, like you could see this hill climb, and there are dudes on like 2 strokes going up. I'm like, oh, that looks gnarly. So we just ride back to the campground and come up with a report. I'm like, hey, I just found a giant like Widowmaker hill climb. Like, how cool. And Pete from Nokomoto goes, I want to do it. Like, well, that sounds like a great idea.
Yep.
On
On a scooter.
his scooter, on his I think Vespa 2-stroke.
That's about as AMA vintage days as it gets.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
yes,
Phil
that's
being-
He
the-
had a- unless he had a
tires.
unicorn hat on.
Phil being a smart man, he's like, well, this sounds interesting. I want to come too.
Mhm.
And we had a nice posse. Big shout out to all of our listeners who
Oh,
came
yeah.
by the way, we had so many people joining us from and wearing, there was Emma's Army shirts
Oh, yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah.
motorcycle shirts,
Cool.
motorcycles and Misfits everywhere. So many great people hanging out with us. And this time, I think a lot of them planned to be there. And like we had people
Mhm.
who camped near us, just all first time. All first time.
So much fun.
So much fun. So we had a
Yeah.
posse of people a lot of times. So we all ride over, my parade of idiots. And the hill climb though was off in the distance. You had to go down into a ravine. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, it was on the other side of the infield, back around by where the road track is.
Yeah, so you have to go down into a ravine that had like trees and stuff, and then up the other side.
Right.
So he's Pete. He's I think pretty drunk at this point.
A little bit.
Little
Yes, I'd
bit.
say so.
Yeah, and so he's like, "All right, I'm going to do it." And because we're sitting there staring, a group, other people were coming around like, "Oh, you're going to try that? No way! Like, no way!" So quite the crowd. So he goes, yeah, down and disappears under the trees.
He does. Yeah.
Doesn't come up the other side. I'm like, huh. We're waiting. No sound, no nothing. Well, shoot. I'm like, well, somebody go check on him. So John volunteers.
So I go flying down the hill. And what we didn't realize is that little ravine, we thought it was like a little, but it was actually like a pretty big creek bed. So I got down the hill, and it sort of gradually went, and then it sort of steeply went down right into the bottom of the thing. So when I got down there, I saw what was going on. So Pete was stuck in the water.
He crashed in the
Well,
creek.
first he crashed on the way down. So,
Yeah.
which
Hit a
I
log
didn't
or
see.
something.
And then he got back up and continued down, and then was like stuck in the water. Like,
He's like, one side of him is soaking wet. The other side is muddy.
Awesome.
And so John doesn't come back.
so I stopped, and I figured out there ain't nothing I'm going to be able to do to help him, but I can videotape this.
There you go.
So we're still sitting up at the top.
Public service announcement.
We're still sitting at the top. Like, well, no one's come up. I'm like, well, shoot, send another one. And Phil goes down on his hunter cub.
Like Starship Troopers.
It was exactly like, we got any more red shirts to send? So he goes down, doesn't come up. I'm looking around like, well, geez, what do we do? I'm like, well, do we just keep sending people down into the abyss? So finally Phil comes up and he goes, oh, he's screwed.
Yeah.
He's screwed. And we couldn't figure out how to get him out of the ravine.
Well, they were trying to help him. So he finally got it out of the ravine and got up to the up on the rocks. And what it was there was just like straight rocks into the ravine and out of the ravine. That's where he got really screwed.
He
So-
got screwed with the front wheel. That's where. That's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
So there was two guys that came down to try to help him, but they couldn't get that thing out
Yeah,
of there.
trying to climb rocks on 10-inch wheels just does not work very well.
on bald ass tires.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah.
But cheers to the effort.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Phil and Swiggy and I went down into the woods on a side road to try and find a way back to him. But it seems like the only way out was up the other side. And then you still have to come down another hill. They have all these little hill climbs on the backside into mud bogs.
Hence why everyone that heard the idea was like, no way.
Oh, and I'd like to say I was on one of Phil's buddy scooters. So
Oh,
not even
awesome.
inappropriate.
Oh,
dirt
yeah.
bike.
That's right.
Buddy scooter. And then finally Swiggy appears. We don't know how he got out of there. He says he climbed the other side.
I don't.
We think he came out the creek bed.
That's what I
Like he
think
just
happened.
followed the creek downstream until the next crossing. And but he's dead in the water. It's not running. He's drunk. Phil and I and Swiggy are like, yeah, we need help.
Well, he claimed that he made it up the other side almost to the top, and then the bike fell over and he couldn't make it the rest of the way or something.
that
So that
didn't
makes
happen.
sense. Well, maybe he
I
broke
don't know.
his clutch. He dented
Yep.
the bike up. He did everything.
The exhaust got pulled off of the cylinder and was just wasn't even going through the pipe anymore.
It was a mess. It was a
Mirrors
mess.
broken. Yeah.
But what are people talking about?
yeah.
Right,
That's an
right.
awesome story.
So I'm like, well, I need to go back and get backup. So I hightail it through the woods. I've never been on this path, but I'm like, where does it go? And it turns out this is the enduro trail. And it finally comes out and I'm skipping along. You know, when you're like, there's a sense of urgency and you kind of kicking in and I'm like feeling the groove. And that buddy scooter was awesome.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I want a buddy
They're
scooter.
It was great.
bikes.
And I
You should
came
get
out
one.
into the campgrounds and I went back to our camp to Phil's guys. I'm like, we need a dirt bike and a toe strap.
Stat.
Things didn't go well. And they're like, oh, shit.
Bring the cart.
A bit of an understatement.
Yeah. But Phil was smarter than I. By the time I got back, he was gone because he found a 4x that came by and he
Yeah.
talked the guy into hefting the scooter on there and hauling it out. So all was good. He's okay. I mean, the bike was kind of banged up. Bagel, you had something to say about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was kind of sad to see what had happened to that bike. It was a lovely Vespa PX 150 Millennium Edition. It had a couple little scratches and dents here and there, and to his credit, he said that he was going to have the bike redone after the event anyway, like all completely gone through, taken apart, repainted, all the body work done to it and everything. So, but he just made a whole bunch more work for his friend doing that body work and paint.
Added a little extra
Oh
character
yeah,
to it.
it was pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
But
and quite a story.
but the fun didn't stop there.
No, it didn't.
Oh,
It was just
no.
we were just
Oh,
warming
no,
up.
No.
And didn't even stop there for that bike either.
I know. Yeah, a bunch of guys got it started, got it running again.
Yep.
It was fun, but there was the burnout contest in the corner, which is a big deal. We've talked about it. In fact, it's not actually a contest, but it is to us, and we managed to win it every time. But it's over in the corner. It's a party. It's a huge crowd of people, and there's lights and music and lasers and smoke machine and and they get a crowd of people, and they have a block of wood, like a piece of wood that you pull up to, so you can do the burnout without digging a hole into the dirt. So we're like, hey, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do this year to win? Like, we've done some pretty crazy stuff with Phil and Zach before. Yeah. So Pete, not to.
I think he was a little more drunk at that point.
I think he was more drunk.
I think he was going to a diabetic shock.
Yeah.
It was a whole new level.
Pete said, so he had his brother's scooter. There's I got an idea. I'll take the other scooter and I'll do it naked. And I was like, okay,
the world what I'm made of.
That's good. That's good.
That's a good start.
But
Foundation.
we need more. We need more. So
nudity is baseline.
I went over to Johnny Mac. I'm like, hey Johnny, you got any fireworks? Yes, I do. What do you need?
Like, give me second degree burns at the best.
So we figured out. So Pete was wearing his little helmet. It looked like what Jack Nicholson wore in It
was a Fonda, I think.
Yeah, the Peter Fonda, the Stars and Stripes.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
And so I duct taped fireworks to his helmet. Right? I'm like, okay, this is good. But we need more. And another guy, I think it was Andrew, was like, I'm gonna be it was Dan. I'm gonna be his beer guy, and I'm just gonna be cracking beers open and pouring them down his throat as he's sitting there doing a burnout. I'm like, that's good. And another guy was like, well, I'm going to be lighting cigarettes and passing to them. Keep filling his mouth.
Shove
with
them right
cigarettes.
up each nostril.
That's good. Okay, we're on to something, guys. We're on to something. And then Pete goes, and then I'll helicopter my dick.
And then what, did it get quiet? Like,
I went, okay,
it wasn't quiet.
I said, let's take a pause for a second. And let's just ask the question. Are we going to cross a line?
Is it illegal?
Is it illegal? Anything goes here, but are we going to cross a line?
Jim's
and
got
everyone's like, nah, let's do it. I'm like, okay. So I got a tiki torch because I'm the lighter of the fireworks on his head. And I'm walking down, and more people are joining us because when you get a crowd and somebody's leading.
I'm watching the video.
Yeah.
From behind.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
If I didn't know this was what event I was watching, I'd be really concerned right now.
He's so drunk, he doesn't even realize the bike isn't in gear, and he's just revving the engine. His brother is having to pop it into gear and restart it for him. And
I see the captain.
the
He's
captain
about
is
to
there.
shotgun him a beer.
And then Phil was like, and I'll be your hype man on the mic.
Perfect.
This is okay. We got a good plan.
Past champion of burnout competitions.
So we go down there, and we're in line, and we've got, I think the key to winning the burnout contest is having a team. It really takes a team. So we get there, he pulls up, he's naked, and the crowd's going, what? And I lean over and I light the fireworks. They're going off on his head.
And
What?
Going.
And he's just revving it, and then
Did you have to jumpstart his dick like an old airplane?
But I had offered at one point, how about I just tie a string to it and I'll just be waving.
And he thought about it.
He
thought for a minute though. That was funny. He was like, all right, maybe.
He's getting beers poured down his throat like a boss.
And
He's
the
getting
fireworks
cigarettes.
are still
The
blasting.
fireworks are still shooting up.
Non-stop.
Every time he
blasting.
lifted his head up, it would shoot right at my face.
Everybody's getting fucking hit with fireworks. Sparks was great.
This kid leans into him and goes, I want to be just like you when I grow up.
Yeah.
And I'm just laughing my ass off. Now, what I didn't mention is within our group that went down there, I'm not naming names, but we had a high-ranking official from the AMA who was videoing this thing
An
for us
official was witness.
from the front, right? And she's just having a blast. Because here's the thing.
This was full helicopter too, right?
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
Oh,
John.
he
hold
went
on,
full.
hold on,
He
hold
went
on.
full.
Don't
Monty.
gender it so they can't know.
No, but it's not. I didn't say who it
They.
was.
All right.
They.
There's a
It
lot
was
of
they.
So here's the thing you got to know. The AMA puts it on. But there's things going on. They just turn a blind eye to. Like the barrel racing. They just pretend they just turn a blind eye. And so,
Well, sometimes they do fuel things, but yeah.
yeah. So this is going, and the crowd is chanting, and they're waving their fists in the air, and they're saying, USA! USA!
I was like,
Right?
This is super murky.
And then he's like, he helicopters his dick. They're like, yeah, USA! And she pans the camera across the audience. And again, not naming names, but she gets on video a very high-ranking member of the AMA who's incognito. Right after he helicopters his dick and he's fist bumping and chanting USA, USA.
Look,
It was what?
all I know is a helicopter and dick that gets anybody's blood going.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Hey, and I'm just sitting there and I'm going, well, I guess my question was answered. No, we have not passed that line.
No, we have not.
And and then I wonder, like, do we want to try and find that line, knowing?
Already thinking about next year.
I think
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna top
That's
that.
a good line to
You
start.
mean new and inventive ways to find that line?
So I declared we won, and
scope creep.
Pete really
Two
did think he
burnouts.
won.
Oh yeah.
He really thought it was a contest. He really thought he won. He went back to ask for his prize.
He did.
But the next day,
He was hurting.
Yeah.
he was hurting a lot. He apparently had a lot of injuries that he
few,
didn't
yeah.
feel that day.
He did not
But
feel good.
amongst the AMA officials, the word was out that this high-ranking person was caught on film at the burnout contest after this naked dude did the whole thing, and they were all asking to see it. It became like legend. And amongst the AMA,
It
they're
doesn't
like,
exist, actually.
we are going to be talking about this for years.
No doubt.
You just
So-
ruined it for that person. No, I can't.
Will there be an AMA award for helicopter number?
I don't know.
Want to see that cast in bronze?
Yeah, exactly. It's a fidget spinner that you flick.
Is this going to be the AMA 1% award?
But
Yeah, there you
shout out to Pete for
Oh,
bringing
Pete.
his A game.
Pete is a rock
Yes.
star.
In fact, John, you really need to thank him because every year I pick a mark
Yes.
of who I'm gonna,
See, the problem is
control
I
into
knew I was
doing
picked.
stupid stuff, and so John
Yeah.
was my mark.
Yeah.
You're
well,
off the hook.
Well, you were off the hook because Pete.
Pete,
took
thanks
it
for taking the
and
bullet
ran
from me,
with it.
buddy.
So many great things. I want to ask. So, John, your
Yep.
first time there, what were some of the highlights for you?
Oh, it's even hard to say. I mean, it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on for sure.
Well, or for Pete.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah, for Pete.
Or
in
not.
Pete's situation. The atmosphere is incredible. It's just lawless enough to be absolutely fun, but nobody's getting hurt, which is
But
awesome.
there's definitely a danger factor.
Yeah, there's a chance.
everywhere you
There's
go.
chances to get hurt.
Just even on all of the roads that you ride on, they've laid out fresh gravel.
Oh.
That was so sketchy, especially on little
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
scooters.
Yeah. So that was great. I mean, the motorcycles, of course, are the most, the centerpiece of it. I love seeing all the vintage dirt bikes out there racing again, seeing those bikes being
Oh,
used in anger.
and kids riding them
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids made me really happy. That was probably one of the highlights because there was another little kid too
So,
that I met who passed me on the barrel racing.
like a 5-year-old.
It was like this,
Yeah.
it ended up being a she. She was like this tall and she pulled her helmet off. I'm like, dang, okay, good job. So, the kids are like the future of the AMA. So that's
Yep.
super exciting. I loved being part of being there with Phil and their crew and NOCO guys. That was just the camaraderie in that spot was incredible.
Yeah, Knock takes full advantage of it.
Oh, dude, I
Yeah.
chilled out so fucking hard.
Did you even leave the campsite? I'm not sure you did.
A little bit. When I got bored, I was like, "Oh, look, there's a little mini dirt bike that I could fuck off on," and I fucked off. I fucked,
Yep.
and you know the part where they used to. There's a section kind of towards the track where they had like little dirt bike races.
Yeah.
They didn't have that set up this year, but like you could just go over there and fuck around, and that's what I did for about an hour.
Oh
And
yeah,
that was
right off. Yeah, that's part of the trail that we came out into.
it. Yeah, by the Wall of Death area over there.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, over in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
big
Yeah.
old grass field.
That was the pit, they used to do pit bike racing, right?
Yeah,
pit
yeah,
bike
yeah.
racing. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It
I
was
got to
dirt.
meet a hero, Dave Aldana.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
cool seeing him and meeting him.
So,
Dave Aldana was
what's
cool.
the deal was like he had these sick leathers and it was so disruptive and awesome that they said that you couldn't wear
Yeah, he
them
had the
as
leathers with the skeleton.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Awesome.
how cool is it to be the guy they made the rules for? You
Yeah.
know, that's
I know.
dope.
And he was
Especially as a
there as part of the
motorcyclist.
On Any Sunday because he's featured in that. So that was really
Yeah.
cool. I met Dave Aldana, but I think the big moment for me
Yeah, the Pentons.
was going over to, we call it Pentonville. There's the Penton Owner Society and John Penton. And if you don't know who John Penton is, he basically
Watch the
modernized motocross as we know it today. He imported bikes that became KTM
Mm.
when people were racing on dirt on like Indian Scouts and
Mm.
Triumphs and stuff like that.
Actually introduced real dirt bikes as we
And
know.
gear,
Yeah.
high point.
Lightweight.
Mm.
Yeah, lightweight.
You
long
know,
travel.
a lot of people still have the fashionable like motocross boots with
High
the
point.
chrome on the front.
They were the high points. I
High
think,
point.
back
He
then.
brought those in.
So like,
Gear and bikes.
so he brought them over from Europe. So
Mhm.
Europe was like ahead of the curve with all this.
Well,
stuff. Is that
no,
what it
he
was?
and he they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
badged
they were,
as
yeah.
Pentons. He had a dealership. They
Gotcha.
he
These were like Husqvarna's and Kate, like from like what
Yeah, these were
65 kind of a thing.
Austrian bikes
Mhm.
that he got licensing to bring to the US and put the Penton name on. That
Mm.
became these lightweight motocross bikes, which
Yeah.
changed the sport.
Yeah.
So he was a racer, and then his son was a racer, and he sponsored a bunch of racers. He's 96 years old. And
Wow.
he's still, they wheel him out into the Penton tent and they just stick a Sharpie in his hand and he sits there just signing stuff for people. And there's a line. And I was fortunate enough to go over there with Todd Huffington, who from On Any Sunday, but who also did the Penton movie, which you haven't seen. You should check out the John Penton story. So Todd introduced me to the Pentons and I got to get his autograph and take a photo. And then the whole Penton group there, they fed me lunch. They had a nice like homemade lunch and I felt so welcome there.
Yeah.
And it was cool to just be part of that history,
Hell yeah.
not just the Pentons, but there are other people who are all part of that change in motocross,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know, that have this long history.
Hanging out with living legends kind of thing, huh?
Well, it's nice to hear
Yeah.
they're like super down to earth, chill people, like most motorcycle.
They're
people seem to
farmers.
be, right? Yeah, super down to
They're
earth.
farmers who race bikes.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight for me. But I think the biggest thing for me, we've been there a bunch of times. Bagel, you've been there a bunch of times, and we always run into listeners who say hi.
Mm-hmm.
There was like
There's a lot.
50. Like
Yeah.
there were so
Yeah, there is.
many.
Phil was saying that he met 90 people who said that.
The number goes up every time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there were a ton of people who, I mean, I think they feel like they know us well enough that they came up to say hi, but then to hang out. And people were just hanging out with us at our campsite and everywhere we went.
It was.
Like even when we like, hey, let's just go get something to eat. We got some hot dogs, sat down at a picnic table, and there was people at the picnic table that looked
Yeah.
over and they're like, look who's eating with us. We're like, oh hey.
Yeah.
Like everywhere we went, there were people saying hi. Did you experience that too, Bagel?
Yeah, or just randomly seeing people wearing motorcycles and Misfit shirts walking around,
I saw a lot of
you
that.
know, and just, you know, people coming up and just kind of fanboying on us. And it was it was a trip.
So I think we should start something called Bagel's Battalion or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you are probably next to Emma, you're the most famous Misfit. Well, Liza,
Really?
of course, but yeah, those three are the ones that people always ask for. So you're
Well,
we can't have another army because we have Emma's army, but we could have Bagel's Battalion.
Bagel Battalion.
so here's the
Bagel's
deal.
Kosher cores.
There were a lot of people coming up to me and asking me, did Bagel make it?
Yep.
Yes.
And Bagel, let's get into your
Boy, howdy.
adventure getting there, because we just took an airplane there and Phil picked us up. Oh, which, by the way, before we get into it, again, huge thanks to Phil and his gang.
Yes.
He picked us up
Yeah,
at the
thank you,
airport.
Phil.
He brought sleeping bags. He brought the trailer for us to sleep in. We had the Misfits trailer. We had food, drinks,
Yeah, it was incredible.
bikes to ride. We were completely hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Phil was a
Yeah, thank
consummate
you.
host.
Yes. But Bagel, you had an adventure getting there. You want to talk about that?
I did. I rode my Vespa from my home to Phil's house and then to Mid Ohio. And part of my ride was to do something that I don't think anybody has ever done before, which is riding the Saddle Sore 2000 for the Iron Butt Association on a Vespa. And
Yeah.
this was I did this a couple days before Mid Ohio started, and rode from Caldwell, Idaho to Avon Lake, Ohio.
So
in
explain
less
for
than
people who
48
don't
hours.
know what the criteria is for that.
Yeah, break it
Okay.
down. That sounds crazy.
So right. So first, there's this thing called the Iron Butt Association.
Mhm.
This is basically a volunteer association of people who like to do insane rides on two-wheeled vehicles. And the idea is that you have to ride at least 1,000 miles within 24 hours to qualify to become a member of the Iron Butt Association. And that ride is called the Saddle Sore 1000.
Mhm.
So it's 1,000 miles within 24 hours.
Yep,
It can
I
be
have
from-
my certificate.
Yep, they can go from anywhere to anywhere as long as you have the receipts to document where you were at what time. Basically, your gas receipts with a photo of the receipt next to your odometer is really all you need. So now I'd done this before. I did my first Iron Butt up to Vancouver in 2014 from Santa Cruz. I did another one from Ohio to Wyoming in 2018, which was a combined 1,000-mile and 1,500. Now, after I did that ride, on the Iron Butt Association results list, they had a category they added on there for the Scooter 2000 class with no names below it. So I saw that and just said, I'd like to try that. And of course, then COVID happened, and that kind of threw a wrench in all sorts of plans. But when things started to start looking up, and I started thinking about going to AMA Vintage Days this year, I thought, well, why not make this the perfect opportunity to do the 2,000-mile Saddle Sore ride on my Vespa? So what I did is I planned the ride to start in Idaho when I hit the interstates, because the idea with an Iron Butt is you want to make as many miles as you can in as little time as possible. And the route across Oregon is usually more in smaller highways. So it's not the that I figured what I should do is just do the first segment to Idaho to kind of as sort of a warm up, really, and then do the 2,000 miles from there to Ohio. Measured everything out, planned out my route, and that was to include 2 days of 1,000 miles to make that 2,000 miles altogether, plus also another 1,500 miles within 36 hours. So basically 4 Iron Butt certifications within one ride.
Goddamn.
Yeah. And yep.
Can I just, I would like to make an announcement.
Sure.
We don't have this official award or anything like many clubs do, but I just want to publicly acknowledge that you are now the most badass
I agree.
misfit.
This is
You and your scooter.
100%.
You
This is
and your
big.
scooter skirt
Yeah, that's
are the
crazy.
baddest assist
Yep.
misfit.
this
Well,
is-
thank
This
you.
is big.
Although I didn't even have the scooter
Amazing.
shirt with me this time, so it wasn't that
Yeah.
cold out.
B2K, B2K.
But yeah, you can call me B2K. So long story short, from July 20th to the early morning of July 20th to the early morning of July 22nd, I did this ride and finished, I think, let me see, my total time was, where is it here? 46 hours and 56 minutes. So just about an hour
Wow.
under the wire.
So did you
Nice.
sleep at all?
I did. I actually got
good.
about maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of sleep in Cozad, Nebraska.
Hmm.
I had trouble too. It wasn't just a simple, twist and go ride.
Yeah.
My bike started cutting out on me about halfway through the first day.
The whole thing almost didn't happen, you guys.
Almost didn't happen. And now there's a known issue with Vespas where the fuel pumps do not like ethanol gas from certain years. It's mainly 2008 to 2010, and the fuel pump that's in my Vespa never seemed to have a problem with ethanolated gas, but for some reason on this ride it seemed like it started having problems. And every time I got gas with ethanol, it started just kind of hesitating and losing some power and cutting out a little bit. But then when I got clear gas, it seemed to be doing fine. So I was kind of puzzled about what was going on here. And I thought maybe the fuel pump was starting to go out and that the ethanol gas was affecting it. So I tried gassing it with clear gas, and on the beginning of the second day, and I was hoping it would do better, but then it started having the same problems again. And then 45 minutes in, it completely cut out. So now, because I was having problems on the first day, that had slowed me down a bit. So I got in later than I expected, and I was more tired than I had hoped I would be. So I had to sleep in a little bit longer in the morning. So I got a later start on the second day, then broke down 45 minutes into the ride the second day. And this was right in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. It was like 10 miles
That's where I broke
west
down.
of, mile marker 268 on I-80 east, if anybody knows the area. It's about 11 miles west of Kearney, Nebraska. And my bike was dead as a doornail, would not start back up. So I called Phil and asked if and I told him what had happened and said, I think it might be the fuel pump has gone out. Do you have any thoughts of anything else I can try? And he didn't really have any other ideas. And I said, yeah, it sure sounds like the fuel pump just by all the symptoms that I was experiencing. So, I called and I thought, well, shoot, that's it. Fuel pump. I can't replace that by the side of the road. I'm done. So
Bagel, what's funny, I was just checking the map. When I was going across the country from my last AMA Vintage days on the KTM, it was that same area in Nebraska where I felt like I was running out of gas.
Yep.
And I thought it was from bad gas. I think it was bad gas in Nebraska.
It's like the Bermuda
And there was
gas.
nothing. There was nowhere. And I had to limp into a town and rent a U-Haul. So I feel your pain, man.
Right. So I had called for an AMA Moto to get a tow. Tried to find a U-Haul, and there was no U-Hauls anywhere near there. At least not in Kearney. I had to go to some other town and rent a U-Haul there. And changed called to change the destination for the tow. And then while I was waiting, I thought, well, I got nothing else to do. Let me call Miss Emma and see if she has any ideas. And boy, am I glad that I did, because I called her and we talked about what had happened. And she said, have you checked the injector? And in my road weary haze, after being on the road for more than 24 hours, I said, no, I didn't even think about the injector. She said, well, because the thing is that I at first I thought that I couldn't even hear the pump turn on when I turned the bike on, which would be a sure sign that the fuel pump was turned off. But I had my helmet on and there was cars going by on the road, so I just couldn't hear it. After I took my helmet off, put my ear on the bike, and then turned it on, then I can hear the pump turn on, and it sounded like it was spinning up properly. It sounded good. So I asked him, is it possible that maybe the impeller separated from the shaft, and that's why the pump sounds good, but it's not running? And she said, well, pull the line off the injector and turn it on to see if it squirts fuel out. I did that, squirted fuel out just great. So she said, the problem's your injector. And I said, well, I have a spare. She said, swap it out. So I did. And 5 minutes later, the bike was running like a top again.
Nice.
And I thank
Emma to the rescue.
She saved the day. And so I called, canceled the tow, canceled the U-Haul, and then hit the road and kept on going. And now I had lost about 2 hours there, sitting on the side of the road, trying to figure out what to do. But finally got it going again and realized, I'm really going to have to haul ass to complete this. because I've kind of burned up all of my wiggle room time. Just trying to figure out what to do by the side of the road after having a late arrival the night before and sleeping in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pressed on as hard as I could. I got in at the end point for the 1,500 mile bun burner with about 15 minutes to spare, I think.
Oh shit!
So I managed to get that to just in time, and continued on from there. But I had to ride through the night on the second night. I could not stop and get a room and sleep, to get, well rested to continue the rest of the way. I had to keep pressing through. And so what I did was I just stopped. I basically decided to keep going as far as I could for as long as I could. And about 3 a.m. in Indiana, I just decided I was really getting too exhausted to continue, and I had to take some sort of a rest. So I pulled over at a rest area, basically turned around on my bike. Well, I went to use the restroom, came back, sat on my bike backwards, turned around on the seat, and just kind of rested on my head on my bag in the top case, and set my alarm for 20 minutes to take a power nap.
Yeah.
And I didn't even really get proper sleep. I just kind of went into the semi-conscious dreamlike state with all these random weird thoughts going through my head. And I just closed my eyes and just let it come through me and just do whatever. And then when my alarm went off, I woke up, got off the bike, did some jumping jacks, went in to use the bathroom one more time, came back out, and felt like, okay, I'm actually feeling a little refreshed. Let's keep going. And I just kept going on and pressed on through the rest of Indiana, went on into Ohio. Did need to take one more rest stop in Ohio just to kind of clear my head a little bit, take another bathroom break. But I had enough time to keep moving and got in at the end with about an hour to spare before my time was up.
Yeah, probably
And
going to take a 30-minute nap.
Yeah. Well, I completed it, the 2,000 miles in total of 46 hours and 56 minutes.
So you sent your paperwork in already, or what's going on?
I've been working on getting that together. I've got just about everything together. All I need to do is organize all the photos and then send that in. I've got all the route sheet, the log, all the other information documented.
Nice.
And,
are they such sticklers these days that they want GPS data at all?
You can use GPS data. I did not use a GPS device, so I don't have any. I'm just using the receipt method. Plus, I also got witness statements as well, just as a backup.
Nice.
So that way there should be no question.
Nice.
Yep. And I did have a couple of little mistakes during the ride too. At one point on the first night when it was getting late, I took a quick rest stop just to get a bottle of water and use the restroom. And when I left the rest stop, I accidentally got on the wrong on-ramp.
Oh, no.
Went I-80 west instead of east.
Backwards.
Thankfully, I realized it right away because as I was passing the
sucked.
sign, I was like, wait, does that say west? And of course, at that point, it was too late to turn around. So I had to go to the next exit, turn around. And I did take a screenshot of my GPS or the what do you call it? The map. A phone map at that point, and a photo of the compass app, which shows the latitude and longitude. Yeah. So that way I have documentation that I went the wrong way, stopped there, and then turned back to continue my route so that those miles will actually count.
Oh, that's cool. So you get miles for backtracking. So I'm curious, Bagel, how do you prepare for this? And then how do you kind of do the nutrition on the road? I'm sure you just don't pound coffee and chocolate before you head out.
No. Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, I tried to plan the route with, I did it all on Google Maps to try to figure out my start and end locations, and I made sure that I had a little bit of buffer room at either end. Usually try to do at least 2%. So that way, because the odometer on my bike reads a little bit low versus the actual miles. So I want to make sure that the odometer on the bike actually registers the 2,000 miles on the ride. so I planned out the route with a little bit extra distance to make sure that I wouldn't have any, there wouldn't be any question that I covered the actual amount that was needed. And I broke it down each day into 4 segments, so that each day had 4 250-mile segments roughly.
Pro tip, everybody.
Pro tip.
Break it
Yeah.
down.
Mhm.
And just try to go as long, for each of those segments in one shot if I could. Now, of course, there were a couple times where I had to stop for a bathroom break or whatever, but just tried to make those as quick as possible.
Now, didn't you call ahead to restaurants and had them prepare your meals ahead of time so they were ready to go?
I did indeed. I researched
That's awesome.
Not just the route, but where I would stop for gas
Ah.
and where I would stop to eat, so that way I would know exactly where I needed to navigate. There wouldn't be any question. Made sure the places were going to be open when I was going to be there, and checked out the menu because I have some dietary issues. I'm on a low carb diet because of diabetes, just controlling it with diet and exercise.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm getting the right kind of nutrition at the right times. So I made sure that I could get into these places to get a salad or some sort of other meal that was good for my diet, and and it worked out well.
Well, congratulations, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And-
that's awesome.
And on your way back, you got to visit some new places too, didn't you?
I did. I took I-90 back most of the way, and I hadn't really been on that route before. So I got to first of all, I got to visit Mount Rushmore, which I'd never seen before.
Nice.
On my
It's
way.
pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very impressive.
I mean, the roads there are so much fun.
We're going through the
roads.
tunnels.
Yeah,
the
the
roads in the
tunnels.
Black Hills are just wonderful.
Yeah, they're
It's
amazing.
It's such
Did-
beautiful country with rolling hills that are just kind of these grassy hills dotted with pine trees all over.
And buffaloes.
Did you get to measure your scooter up to a buffalo?
No, I did not meet a buffalo, and I'm kind of relieved that I didn't, because
Yeah.
I don't think I would have fared well on a head-to-head.
Did you go to the Hyde store?
Oh,
I did not go to the Hyde store. It
Oh.
was not open. I got in late and had to leave early.
Donkeys? Did
Oh.
you kiss a donkey?
But
Actually-
Michelle did a wonderful job of taking care of me and making sure I had
She's
everything I
She
needed.
is awesome.
She's
Side
great.
note, because Shauna does not listen to this show. So Shauna and Michelle are my 2 partners in Rev Sisters.
Yeah.
So the Head and Hide store that, we have these heads that we buy, or me. So Shauna bought a house in South Dakota, is moving to Custer, hasn't
Nice.
moved there yet.
Brilliant.
So Michelle was at the head store and she took a picture of this giant elk head. She's
Ooh.
like,
Which
no,
is giant.
it's only $200 if you want it. I'm like, done.
Dude,
And I
housewarming.
need you to put it up at Shauna's house
Yeah, before-
as a
housewarming when she goes there.
housewarming. It's huge.
It's got to
gonna
be
huge
probably as
rack.
big as this whole wall.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and I said, and also please get a ball sack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winter,
Oh, no.
summer.
They have
Winter or
it's,
summer?
It's a winter sack.
Okay.
They
Oh,
have the
geez.
buffalo ball sacks that you can buy that they turn into little drawstring pouches.
Uh-huh.
Tobacco knock when you're
Yeah.
rolling your own tobacco.
That
You
makes
can put
perfect
your weed
And
in
so
it, man.
Michelle took a picture of her with this evil grin and this giant head in the back of the truck, taking it out to install the shutters. I love that place.
Wild.
Did you put
$200, but we've named it
That'd be
Vincent
gross.
because the ear fell off.
Oh no.
It's $200.
Wow.
Yeah. But
But
it's beautiful there.
That's cool.
yeah, and I also have to mention that after I was stayed in Custer, the next day, on my way to Idaho, I rode through Yellowstone, which I'd never
Yes.
visited before
Ooh.
Jim and I
either.
did that.
Epic. Yeah.
And it,
I've never
I
done Yellowstone.
really, I'm really kind of bummed that I didn't plan this a little bit differently, because in hindsight, I really should have taken a whole day to stay in Yellowstone.
I know, John, you went through there, didn't you?
No, I went through
right.
I went through Bighorn and over through Jackson Hole.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we think Yosemite's cool until you go to Yellowstone. And you're
Yeah.
like, holy
Yellowstone,
cow.
and I just had to kind of hightail it through there because I was on a it was a very long day of riding to
Yeah.
get to Pocatello, Idaho from Custer. It was think over 600 miles
Yeah.
in a day, and
Mhm.
and the ride through Yellowstone is not fast, especially when there are a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
The height of season in July.
Mhm.
So it was very kind of frustrating trying to get through there. But the scenery was just absolutely amazing coming into Yellowstone.
It's incredible there.
And we saw buffalo
And-
there too. Remember?
Yeah, I
We're
did
like-
Grand
Yeah.
Teton. That's
They're
what
like
I
in the
did.
line of cars, and buffalo just boom, comes walking
Dude.
through the cars.
Prehistoric. Their heads
I saw a
as
herd
big
of
as a
moose
car.
when I was there too.
Oh wow!
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
But I really wish that I had spent a day, stayed a night before I got to Yellowstone, and then just spend a day riding around Yellowstone and then really enjoying it, and then take another day to get home after that. That would have been a much more pleasant trip. As it was though, I got kind of stressed trying to get through Yellowstone. I also got hit with a pretty big rainstorm riding through most of the park, which was really kind of miserable. There weren't even places for me to pull over on the road to put on my rain gear, so that kind of sucked. I just got drenched. But I made it. I saw Old Faithful. Wasn't there while it was spouting off, but there was steam coming out of it, and I got some
Yeah.
pictures.
Nice.
So that was neat. And I wish that I had time to stop at the prismatic pools. I rode by
Yeah.
them on the way out, and I was just like, oh man, I really wanted to stay there, but and see them, but I was fighting daylight at that point, and just had to get going because the roads coming out of Yellowstone past there are kind of rural, and I didn't really want to ride through those in the dark. I had planned to get dinner in West Yellowstone, which was, in hindsight, kind of a mistake because it was so crowded and took so long. I should have just had a snack and kept going there.
Mhm.
But in any event, I did make it through and got to Idaho late that night, and then one more day from there to get home to Oregon, and that was good to finally make it home and get to rest in my own bed.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
not every day you can say that I was on top of a super volcano. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
pretty
there's that
cool.
too. Yeah. Yeah, and that thought did cross my mind as I was riding through there through the elevation.
Anytime now.
Yeah,
It's
if it
massive,
goes off, we
though.
all got nothing to worry about anymore.
Exactly.
So I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about another fascinating part of AMA Vintage Days,
Yeah.
and that is the buying and selling of things, of bikes,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the negotiating that happens.
What's awesome is watching a fucking pro do it.
Oh yeah,
It is
Yeah.
just like,
Oh.
it's amazing.
So
It's like a performance theater, performance.
So what Phil does is every time, this is where he unloads bikes that have been abandoned at a shop. Maybe somebody brings it in and they're like, I don't want to pay to get that fixed, or
Old barn finds.
whatever. Or things he finds, things that have no title, whatever. He just brings them, and that's what we get to ride around. Some of them working, some of them aren't. But there's deals. There's great deals.
Oh yeah.
One of them was fascinating to watch. He had what's that scooter that he had for $50?
Oh, it
was
was
it Vespa? Was it Vespa?
no, it was
No.
a Chinese scooter.
Oh,
No. But he said it was the same motor that's used in the
It's a GY6 or
But
whatever.
the GY6
Yeah,
motor.
GY6, yeah. It's a Chinese clone.
Yeah, the GY6 motors.
Yep.
And it was a running scooter,
Yeah.
but the header studs were stripped, and
Mhm.
so had to be like removed and replaced. So the exhaust was kind of hanging off a little bit.
And
right?
no title, right?
no title.
Okay, no title.
Yeah.
But a running scooter.
Yeah.
Well, this guy comes along, this older guy, and he's like, tell me about this, and
It's $50.
And yeah, Phil's like, it's $50. Well, does it run? He goes, it says it runs, doesn't it? He's like, well, can I see it run? And Phil's like, look, man, it's $50.
Yeah.
It's got the GY6 motor. It's a great motor. No paperwork, but it's $50 for a running scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, can I just see it run? He said, all right. If I make it run, are you going to buy it? And the guy just kind of like, we'll see. So Phil he's like, oh, I got to go get a battery. So he goes to get a battery, and then he puts the battery in. Then has to get some starter fluid, and he's just, and it's a bap, 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 right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's loud. He turns
Sounded
it off.
like Pete's bike.
Yeah. He turns it off. He goes, all right, are you buying it? And the guy said, let me think about it.
Well, didn't he offer him 20?
He may. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, let me think about it. And Phil's like, dude, don't waste my time, right?
Yeah.
So one of the listeners who was with us, he was watching the whole thing. And so the guy walks away and he goes, I'll buy it.
Awesome.
So he like slides some money
Sold.
over.
Yeah.
Sold, right? Oh, the guy had he asked, well, will you throw in the battery? And Phil's like, it's a $65 battery on a $50 scooter.
Yeah.
Right. No, get your own battery.
No. So the listener buys it. Joe, congratulations. And
And Phil gave him a $10 discount for being a Patreon member
I
too.
didn't even say,
Oh, that's awesome.
pretty much. Well,
That's
a couple hours later, the guy comes back.
Yep.
The old guy,
And he's looking at the scooter, which is still sitting there, and he's like, I came back for the scooter. And he had gone to Walmart and bought a battery. Phil's like, sorry, dude, sold. It's gone.
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, but I went and bought a battery.
God.
Sorry,
dude. It's sold.
You had your chance.
you snoozed.
And, right. And this guy was just so defeated. But
Cash
I
is
went
king.
and bought a battery. He goes, well, do you want to buy the battery? He goes, no, I don't want to buy the battery. Right. So this guy like humps it away. And that's right. Then Joe had already taken it over to his campsite. Well, he walks by and there's the scooter just around the corner. And he goes, Hey, buddy, I'll give you $50 for that. And
Nice.
and Joe was like, no.
They try to sell the battery
He said-
afterwards.
He said, I'll give you 100.
Oh no.
I said, no. And this guy
Is out of general principle, huh?
just had to slink away,
my
completely defeated. And with a battery in his hand that he had to buy.
Why didn't
and-
he sell him the battery there?
No, they I think everyone was like,
Like, screw that guy.
screw that guy.
Okay.
And this is kind of the lesson. When you find a deal,
Jump on it.
jump on it.
Don't fuck
Don't
around.
tell
Don't fuck
me.
around.
Fuck
Don't
around.
gotta
And-
tell me.
It's a fucking $50
$50
running
scooter.
scooter.
And the other moral of the story: don't buy a battery for a bike you don't own.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Bring a 12-volt fucking battery just with you, That's one of the pro moves. Phil always has an extra battery or a boost pack with him
Yeah.
at AMA.
Yep.
And then so Phil is he's the master.
He
at
clicks
this.
into a whole nother mode.
Oh, hold
Yeah.
on.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's,
to
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
It's like
So-
Jekyll and Hyde almost.
Yeah, it really is.
It's funny.
On the last day, it's
Good to
Sunday.
watch.
We stayed later than most.
Yeah.
Everything's loaded. We're ready to go, but we have to stop by the swap meet to pick up a couple more bikes that he had parked over there. One of them was, I think it was a GS 1100,
No, it was a XS 1100.
XS
Yeah.
1100.
Oh, dude, you got that. Oh,
XS
man.
1100 scooter, or not scooter, I mean, a little cruiser.
Mhm.
What he was asking, like $200 for it or something?
No.
400, I thought.
400?
Was it- yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
That was a
For-
great. Yeah, no.
For an XS 1100.
1100.
No,
yeah.
no title though. That's yeah.
Yeah, no title.
Yeah.
Runs. It was a
Yeah.
complete bike.
Not bad.
And as we pull up, there's a couple guys standing there staring at it. It's like everyone's gone. It's just two bikes alone in a field, right? And Phil pulls up and he's kind of ignoring them because he knows these guys. He knows
Yeah.
these
He
kind
knows
of
the
guys.
game. You can see
He
it.
knows the game.
Yeah.
And he's like, excuse me, guys, just I gotta get these loaded. And one guy starts asking questions. Well, can you tell me about this bike? And Phil's like, well, it says everything right there. $400. You want a whole bike? $400, no title. Does it run? And you can see like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Phil's like, yes, it says it runs. Yes.
I mean, you know what? To his credit, Phil is a very patient man.
He is.
considering
He is.
all things.
Well, he's incredibly honest too, and
Yeah, and that shit would drive me fucking bananas.
But
man.
I
Like,
could
wouldn't-
see he
I
was
wouldn't
losing
deal with that.
patience because these
Yeah.
guys are standing around and they're kind of
Yeah.
asking questions.
We're all
and they're-
getting hangry and shit.
We're just we're trying to leave. We got like a caravan all loaded up, ready to go. And the guy's like, well, can I hear it run? And Phil's like, all right, so here's the deal. I'll go if I go get a battery and I make this thing run, I show it to you, you're gonna buy it, right? Or we're just gonna stand around and fuck our hats. What do you want?
exactly.
That's when you're ready to go home.
I wasn't a
Yeah.
father and son team
It
because
was
that-
like a father and son. It was
Oh
like
my
I
god!
a
think
young
the
man.
kid, that's like the first time he's ever heard
Look-
the string of words. Like,
First
and
time
I'm
I've
just
heard
sitting there just watching the show.
yeah.
And the guy's like, well, I just, so we're going to fuck our hats. Okay, great. So, look, you want it or not, And the guy's like, I don't let me. Well, thanks. And then the next thing you know, the guy's like, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry for wasting your time. Like they're apologizing to him for just asking these simple questions because
Shit's on the paper plate, dog. You know what I'm saying?
it's the same thing.
There, yeah.
It's all there.
It's like as
It's
if it's gonna
$400 complete bike.
it's as if it's gonna make it more true if somebody says it or something, like it's the fucking guy wrote it on the pipe.
And then I'm sure they're asking questions. Well, can we get it registered? They just start asking all those questions.
Well, how old was the younger?
Oh, maybe 20.
Yeah,
Maybe he's a young
yeah.
guy.
If you don't know, it's not the bike.
It's a
He
big-
doesn't know, but that's why Phil
That's a big deal to that
knew who
kid.
these guys were.
Oh yeah, I get that.
It's a big deal to them.
But Phil knows this is not the bike for you.
Yeah.
And so he used his Jedi mind power, and these guys apologized and walked away.
Now apologize for wasting
And
my
it was-
time.
It was fascinating to see him do his thing because he knows these people. He knows,
Yeah.
He knows
which
the
ones are
game.
wasting their time,
Years.
which ones aren't. But there were so many bikes bought and sold that weekend.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
were
man.
so many deals.
Yeah, and I
Liza was-
love.
Yeah.
I love when Phil was talking about the Jawas, and not the motorcycle Jawas, like the Star Wars Jawas, who come around at the end and
Yeah.
pick
Oh,
all
yeah.
like the bikes that are left behind as like garbage.
Oh yeah, going around picking up whatever people leave behind.
Free.
And John and I made a we
Freaking
made
Liza
a couple
I almost bought a bunch of motorcycles because of her.
Yeah.
Well, we almost bought one in Phil's shop.
We
were
made
even
a couple of
started.
before we even started. Phil had these Benelli,
The TNT or the
Yeah.
they're the Grom knockoffs,
yeah, right.
and they had big block tires. He had one with big block tires on it, and I just looked at that and I went,
Looks tough. I want that.
I want that. Like that's the vintage days
That's the
bike.
jam.
Yeah.
These things are what, like 3,000 new
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
So I'm like, John, let's go half and half. Let's buy it.
Just do an impulse purchase.
But I'm
Yeah,
also
total.
thinking,
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but those Benellis look good, I have to say.
I know, right?
Yellow.
But I'm also thinking, I'm going to be trying to talk him into doing all the stupid stuff. Better to do it on a bike that we own
Yeah.
than someone else's, And Phil's like, I can't tell you that. That bike's already sold. Well, what about another one? What about that one? What about that one? Can you put tires on it? We can't get tires. We can't do it in the time frame you need it. We can't do it.
Bummer.
And we're like, okay.
Mm.
But then there was a guy around the corner from us who had, Jim,
Yeah.
he had a line of CT70s.
How fun is that?
Ooh.
A line of
Is he
CT70s
selling them bad
All
boys or
barn
what?
kind of barn finds.
and
all
little
of them.
XR50s and all that kind
For
of stuff,
sale?
right? Oh, yeah.
What did they kind of range? I'm curious out there.
They go for a lot. They're like
Yeah,
the
they're
number
expensive.
So
one
out
bike
there, they're just as expensive.
Yeah.
as they
18,
are
I
here.
think. Was
They are
asking.
now.
So he was asking like 1,700 for one,
Right,
and I think
okay.
1,800 for
Yeah.
another. And
And these weren't runners. I mean, these were stuff you have to put a lot of
Okay,
time
yeah,
and energy.
okay.
into.
so I was like, all right,
So
here's
full-
my
Full
game.
boat.
Here's
Yeah.
my game. I really I didn't really want it because then you have the whole problem of what do you do with it. But I'm like, if I can get one at the right price. So I'm like,
Hey, John, let's buy two.
let's buy two.
Okay.
Hey, they're small enough you can fit them in your suitcase, right?
Let's do it.
So I went up to the guy. I'm like, so here's the deal. I'm gonna throw you out an offer, and it's a go fuck off offer. I'm just being forward with you. I said best I can do is 1,800 for both. So basically, buy one get the second one for free. And he's like, no, I'm gonna be able to sell them this weekend. Like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't unfair prices, but these are bikes that weren't running. And the one I was looking at had like missing brakes and just stuff
And shipping home.
Yeah. So I'm like, look, dude,
Yeah.
I got to ship them to California. So the best I can do is 1,800 for two. I knew a smart man would not take it. But
Yeah.
here's my game.
Well, that's a good place to start.
Here's my game. I kept riding past his camp and his road bikes real slow
Give him the eyeball.
and giving him the eyeball.
and
they-
the dirty stank eye.
And I'm still here. I'm still
You
here.
gotta give me that shit.
Like
Yeah, oh,
worm,
you know,
like
and-
worm
and
from Friday.
To
Yeah,
his
exactly.
credit, to his credit, I offered 18. So it was 18 and 17, which would be what, 35?
Mhm.
He came back with 25
Yeah, that was,
for two.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah.
not my game. My game, I was like, I don't really want to buy a bike, but I want to fuck with somebody.
You're one of the time
bored.
wasters feels like shit's on all the time.
Hey,
stop it already.
But here's the deal. I said it first thing.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I said it first thing. So I just kept going by and smiling and nodding at him as I would ride by. I see the bikes are still here.
Big old lesbian's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Gives him the throat slash, you know.
I think he did sell them by the final day, but who
I
knows?
think he had
Yeah.
a couple left over though. When I
He
went
had
by.
some, but I was just having fun, just playing the negotiating mind games.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
But
How-
I really didn't want to bike.
So, John, how'd you like the swap meet whole thing?
I almost
Swap
bought
meet
Penton,
City,
too.
huh?
I think you should just shadow Phil on a typical work day. It might give you that
Oh,
edge,
man.
dude. You know?
He's
Yeah.
got skills.
Yeah.
I found a Penton that was titled and tagged.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I was like, oh my god! And lights were on it.
How much they want for it?
Let's guess.
$4,000.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not
It's not
crazy.
bad.
Not crazy considering. Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. You know, also because you got to add
Logistics.
another $700 $800 on there
Shipping.
for shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
It was.
But Hollister on a Penton would be a blast.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
Go to the
Track
vintage.
over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were watching them race at Laguna a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. So just great time overall. I had fun just hanging out with all these people, just meeting all the people. Shout out to, I'm wearing the shirt, Brian at Skidmark Garage. He
Yep.
was set up right next to me. I hung out there with him a bit.
Yeah.
Speed
Just
Cult
cool
guys
people.
are cool.
Oh, dude,
Dude.
it's one of my favorite bikes. We talked about it on the live podcast we did. There was a Honda Davidson.
Yeah.
Jim, it was a full Harley Davidson bagger with a Honda CB750 motor in it. I said, that's
How
the
cool
most
is
reliable
that?
Harley you'll ever
Yeah,
find.
right? No kidding.
Yeah.
There was cool bikes. I met that woman, Bagel. You saw her. She had a topper scooter, the Harley
Mhm.
scooter
Yes.
Yeah.
with a sidecar. It was her dad's, and she had it restored.
Yeah, that
Oh,
And
was
she's
super
riding it, and it was
cool.
like creamsicle orange.
That was
Yep.
awesome.
I really like that.
Just so many really cool bikes, cool people, everyone up for conversation.
Malcolm
Yeah.
Smith's bike.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
I-
gosh.
Yeah.
I'm still dreaming about that.
I touched it. I waited till after hours,
Hmm.
and
Touched
and
it.
they let me in there and take a picture standing on the
Oh.
pedestal with it.
Oh, that's
Like
cool.
molester.
I did. I rubbed it.
Did
I
you,
rubbed
did you
it.
grab the throttle?
I
you
did.
grab
I
it?
rubbed it. Yeah.
This is what legends.
I didn't know what was
are
going
made
on. I
of.
heard a little woo on the outside. So that was
Squeeze it.
Liza
Squeeze it good.
molesting the bike.
What a great times. I think everyone who came out also had a great time.
I tell you what, I set the tone when we touched down and we had breakfast, and like Phil and I ordered a fucking Bloody Mary.
Yep.
It was so good. It was just like that the whole weekend.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Good people, good times, good bikes, and everyone there is approachable and conversational. Every
Yeah.
single person.
Yeah.
I was having just conversations with people standing in line to get hot dogs. Just everybody. But even just like we said, seeing the kids running around. Even at one point, over past the pit bike racing, there was just a grassy hill, and people were just riding up the hill and riding down the hill, riding up the hill, riding down. Like people just having fun.
Well, and we saw the
Everywhere.
mosh pit too.
Oh,
dude, Jim.
Oh, my.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
wait, hold on. Let
Oh
me tell you
my.
this. This was one of the my brain broke. I forgot about this.
Yeah,
So we go over. I guess
we
this
were
was
watching the barrel racing. We
Saturday
saw
night.
it,
Like,
yeah.
let's go see the barrel racing because
Because it was a
in
full
the
shit show
evening
at that point.
at dusk, it's a
awesome. Oh,
full
yeah.
shit
It's Armageddon
show.
shit. Yeah.
full
Yeah.
shit show, right?
Were they doing actual
Oh.
starts?
They were
Yes, they
doing starts.
were.
It was
Oh.
like 30 across,
Yeah.
and you had
And
the
people
and
ripped
you had
at
the
that.
unicorn girls and golf carts. I mean, it just
Yeah. It was
everything,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And
You know what? Despite all of this, it was still a pretty wholesome event.
oh yeah,
It's what's so
Yeah.
great about it.
oh yeah.
You got a dude
So-
helicoptering his dick down over there, and you got like
No, so check it out. So we're watching. They're starting. We're watching the unicorn
helicopter,
girls.
is that what you said?
No, do the whole shot, and then as they got everyone lined up, and he waves the flag on one side of the track. Some old couple in a golf cart took a shortcut across the track, not realizing at
Lord.
that
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
that he just let loose
Oh no.
the beasts, and they go around one of the unicorn girls right in the front, and here's they're looking at the back of a golf cart, and they just surround it like an angry swarm. You see the people in the golf cart like, and I'm just laughing my ass because you saw it coming, like, oh no!
I wish there was a drone shot of that.
Oh my
that
god!
would've been great.
But then as we're watching this, right across the barrel racing in the next campground over on the edge of the campground, I'm like, John, what is that?
Yeah.
And it was a death metal band with a mosh pit playing.
Good Lord. Were they Amish? Was it Amish death metal?
No, seriously. And I'm like, what? We need to go see this.
Yeah.
So we go down there, park the bikes, and we're walking up, and it's literally, shouting into the mic. But
wow.
the drums going and the bass. But they were good. They weren't just making noise. They were really good.
Yeah.
And they had a full-on mosh pit going on in the campground. And so we're just sitting there kind of on the side, like watching this band, and I'm like, they're actually pretty good. And then this dude
Angel Death
who
Breath.
looked kind of like a caveman
Yep.
on a mini bike in a full banana suit
Yep.
rode into the mosh pit and started doing a burnout.
Yeah.
And at that
Circle
moment,
donuts.
my brain hit capacity.
Yeah.
And like there was a little pump. And I was like, I turned to John, I'm like, like I'm done. Like I feel like I need to go back to the campground and sit down. Like I think my capacity of how many levels of crazy I can
Great.
I can understand.
Sounds like you need something to eat.
Yeah. Or a stroke.
Well, I
Yeah.
suddenly wanted to go eat a night banana.
Yeah.
But did you feel the same way too? It was just like
I usually don't eat night bananas.
no, but the level, like
Yeah, but it was
I was just like
it
I'm
couldn't
done.
go any further. I mean, what else would
Yeah,
you
that had to be
I'm
something to
after
see.
Helicopter Man and now banana,
Was the mosh pit at dusk or dark?
it was like,
Like
dusk,
right at
dusky
dusk.
dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dusk is the apocalypse hour. Yeah.
We got Helicopter Man. We got Raptor Girls. We got Death Metal Mosh Pits.
Oh my
Means a
god!
wall of death.
And the wall, it was everything.
What's cool
was
about
good.
it too is about 2 a.m. everything just shuts down. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's
Yeah.
the trick. I don't know if you noticed this. Down in the party corner, that's blasting music can be heard everywhere. Their last song of the night, they play
That
Wham,
Yeah.
and
we're
everyone
never gonna
and
dance. That one, yeah.
everyone
The
disappears.
sexy sax song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guilty feet have got no pleasure.
Yep.
And everyone just walks away, and
That's
then
great.
it's
That's
silent
it. That's it.
until the two-stroke kids get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Ding, 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 ding.
Or is it? Or how was the sleeping quarters?
It was dope.
Oh, it was
Yeah, it was
great.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Liza
discovered-
farts a little too
no,
much. But
it was
You
you.
both
Oh,
make funny
that's
noises.
a stinky.
We all-
That's a
Anyway.
stinky trailer.
you've been with Liza.
We had cots, sleeping bags, and cots.
That's cool.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I was on
windows
the
were
fly
cracked
on.
open. It rained a
Yeah.
little bit, but it
Yeah.
was nice. Except for you, you got rained on literally.
I did. I was next to the open window. I woke up wet.
So it was a car hauler trailer that was enclosed with windows.
Yeah.
And it was great.
That's cool.
Plenty
Yeah,
of room.
Phil hooked me up with a tent that was fit for a king. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
I saw that thing. You lucky man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had Johnny cooking for us, and then Knock, in all of his wisdom,
What did I do?
you went on the way there and you bought
Pickles.
the biggest jar.
Puff
I've
balls.
ever
Oh yeah, you
seen.
did.
Yo,
Pretzels?
son, we went to fucking Walmart. I got like a 2-gallon jug of like
Chicharrones or
fucking
or
pork
pork
rinds.
rinds, yeah.
Oh,
Pork rinds.
yeah, man.
That's America right there.
And
I
he
was
just
like,
macked
that's
on those
awesome.
all weekend.
Dude, I
I
was
think
like,
he survived on
I
pork
felt my
rinds.
blood pressure go up.
Pork rinds and
as I was
Modelo's.
eating them. Yeah.
What
Dude.
beer do you drink out there, dude? There's no
We were-
Mexican beer.
It was
dude.
actually just a Miller Lights and like Miller Light strawberries and all whatever that was.
Yeah, that natty one.
Natty,
right?
the natty strawberry. It was just like a cadre of shit beer and occasionally good beer.
Yeah, it really
For the
was.
most
And
part,
dark-
just chilling.
Dark alcohol.
There's
was
dark
dangerous.
booze.
lots of dark liquors. I think Oscar made some painkillers, or I think it was John. So we had some tiki drinks. It was nice.
It was.
And they
it
had
was
people handing
excellent.
out
It was
cookies too.
Oh yeah, pot cookies.
Now I'm worried about next year
Yeah.
because
How do we top that?
You got to bring a fire extinguisher to the burnout contest like next year.
Yeah,
Flamethrower.
Maybe
I don't know. Well, and I was already talked to John. He's talking about bringing his wife next year.
Mhm.
I went, well,
she's going to be your mark.
now I know. Now I know how to win the burnout contest. Naked chick burnout.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Liza, are you volunteering?
No, John's wife. She's
I
the
will,
mark.
I will give you $500 if you can get my wife naked
Okay.
doing a burnout.
Oh. Oh.
Seriously,
Oh.
$500.
Oh.
Oh no.
So
Just tell his wife you'll give her $500.
I'll give you $450. So just an amazing time. Amazing time.
Yeah.
I want to get to some emails because we got some good stuff. And Bagel, this one is for you. You remember Paul Kelly, who was there with his awesome daughter Dee?
Yes.
He's got two questions. The first one is, can you please do a video tour of Bagel's tool roll?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I think we could manage
Yeah, we had
that.
a little
Ooh, and I
tool
like
roll
those.
session, didn't we, Bagel? And
You know,
were showing your
yeah.
tools.
We should probably
yeah.
do one with Jim too. I mean, there's a bunch of people who've created their tool rolls. John, you're a tool guy too.
Mhm.
I just know
Yeah, I
I
mean-
just travel with a tool guy and I'm good.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
I could do my tool roll, or I could do the whole tool setup that I carry with me on my bike for long distance rides.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Dee was having the time of her
She's
life.
great, yeah.
She's 17 years old, and like Phil loaned them a scooter to use all weekend, and she was getting to go up and down
Nice.
the aisles. But he was looking for a bike to get her, and I had said, you know, what'd be a great bike is like an XR100.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. I can see
Great bike for just beating up, having fun. And he said that he hasn't been able to find any XR100s or any XR125s. He said, would an SSR be a good option?
Hmm.
Mm.
Basically,
know.
the pit bikes.
I don't know. Those are a little,
Well,
they can surprise you.
Well, I just don't know how much you can beat it up and
I think
Like
you
you
should
can
get the
a Honda.
Benelli.
Well-
The Grom copy.
well,
well, that's a
here's
plated bike.
right. Here's my question: Is he looking for a plated bike for her, or
No,
something that's
actually,
just
no.
off-road?
She's already getting into riding on the street. He wants a little dirt bike for her to beat up and have
okay.
fun on.
I think that'd be perfect.
The SSR.
Yeah, they're
Mm.
great little bikes.
It's $1,000.
Yeah.
Brakes, whatever.
How can you
Yeah,
go
I guess you're
wrong?
right.
I mean,
Um,
it's peaky, but I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, John, you wrote it. That thing had a lot of grunt
I
to
had
it,
so
right?
much fun on that thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, and they've got the extended swing arm and and I think a pipe on there too. So that
There's,
thing,
there's apparently a pro version with a
That's what they got.
Schlager swing arm, and it's a loud ass pipe.
it was funny
Oh.
on that hill when Pete was doing this thing. I just literally just picked it up, turned it around,
Yep.
and went back up the hill. It's
Yep.
like so
Yep.
cool to do that.
That was awesome. And
I love you.
Bagel, if you can, I sent an email to you to read.
Yep.
If you can get that prepared, I have one to
Mhm.
read. Then we got yours. This one is from Brett. He says, "Hey Misfits, I love the Vintage Days podcast. You could just tell from Phil's slightly hoarse voice how much fun he had been having.
Rally voice.
The rally voice. I wish I could have been there one day," he says. "How about you guys do an X-rated podcast reminiscing about all the things you saw and did?" Yeah. He says, "I'm an old timer getting a 2003 GS500 ready for my daughter
Nice.
when she gets her license in 5 years. Is that too early?"
Nope.
Nice. I might play with it a
good
little
bike.
bit before then, though. I forgot what a lot of fun little bikes are.
Mhm.
I know a lot about old AML type carbs, but not much about CV carbs,
Mm.
and they're doing my head in. I've been through the bike and the carbs and everything is stock and seems good, but I've got two issues. But the fact there is no physical link from the throttle to the slide is
Huh.
making it hard for me to figure out what's going on.
Hmm.
So, firstly, there is a notable snatchiness when I try to gently roll on and roll off the throttle. And secondly, when I am giving it the beans at full throttle, it almost seems to give a little bit of extra boost when I close the throttle a little. Is that normal? Any ideas? Greatly appreciated. Thanks so much, guys. Hope your summer is not too smoky. So, to me, and again, none of us are as good as Emma. She could probably identify it, but to me, that sounds like a vacuum leak.
I think
Could
so.
be.
Because when you back off a little bit, it's kind of letting it catch up, right? So,
Well, it could
or
be
is
that
it just that it's
or-
running lean?
Yeah, it could be. It
Issues
could be
there.
jetting. where it's running out of fuel at the very top end and
Yeah.
rolling off. Like, let's get back into the right mix, but it's hard to say.
I've had that on a
Do we have an
bike for my
aftermarket?
KZ400 had that problem, and I think it was the air screw, the air gas mixture screw.
Well, that's
That-
only going to affect idle, though, isn't it? It's not going to
Nah,
affect
it's
top
Well,
not
but
speed.
he's saying when he's rolling on, like I had to roll off to find the sweet spot
Mhm.
because too much gas, it couldn't handle it. It just didn't have the flow.
Maybe
Right.
it's over gas. Maybe it needs a leaner jet or something up top, or fatter jet, or however that works. I don't know.
Hmm.
Well, so and the other thing, the snatchiness when you try and gently roll on the throttle.
Mm.
To me, that also seemed like it might be a vacuum leak because it's not
Yeah.
consistent, you know?
Right, and typically you want to start at the lower RPM ranges and get those sorted out first, right? Don't
I
you?
don't know. I don't know. It's a
I mean,
CV carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's not running right at the lower RPM range, you could get all kinds of unpredictable behavior at the upper RPM
You
range,
think
right?
you might have a torn boot?
So
or
that's
torn,
Yeah, could be.
diaphragm.
the torn diaphragm could be it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I think
That's what
Cooper
Cooper
is
had
having
today,
with his Ducati. Yeah, check the diaphragm and check your boots. So get it running, spray starter fluid on the boots and see if you're getting a vacuum leak at all, because it'll rev up.
Yep.
If that's happening. And if it is in the top, you need to pull off the top of the carb and really inspect. What's this word again? I always forget the diaphragm.
Yeah.
And inspect it really well. And a little trick you can try is put some Vaseline jelly on it on the top end, because sometimes that'll help seal a tiny little crack temporarily, and see
Yeah.
if that makes a difference, you know?
Yeah.
And it helps seal if it's around the top, if it's not sealing right. It's a
Oh,
temporary
where the
thing.
gasket is, or where,
Yeah.
where it closes.
Yeah, some Vaseline jelly. It's not going to hurt anything.
True.
So I would try that. Bagel, you have an email there?
I do. And this is an email from Mike Olson.
Hey, Mike.
And the subject is formula for proper number of bikes.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
So Mike writes, "What's up, Misfits?
Hey.
Moto Mike 805
Sup?
here from Arkansas.
Hell yeah.
So I started
Arkansas,
listening
his
to your
house.
podcast a few years back when I only had one bike, a 2009 Harley Sportster.
Okay.
After listening to your podcast, I learned the formula for the proper number of bikes, X plus 1.
Mhm.
Well, fast forward a few years, and I now have 4 bikes.
Good on you.
I've added a 2004 Dyna Super Glide, 2020 Honda Grom, and a 2013 Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade
Oh.
Rexall Edition.
Wow.
That's a good combination.
That's the same one Mikey has, right?
Mhm.
3 times, yeah.
Buddy says, I'm having a problem with the formula.
Uh-oh.
I'm running out of room to put them.
Yeah.
I've got a small 1-car garage, but
I
I
have
think
the
I
same
can.
problem.
But I think I can fit one more in there. But do you keep any bikes in the house? I could probably
Jim.
put a couple in my living room.
That's when you're on your way to a museum.
I'm surprised Jim isn't doing that yet.
Hey, if nobody's there to tell you no, do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so trying to get creative here, as I already need another motorcycle to satisfy the formula.
Mhm.
Thanks for your help. I've attached a few photos. Love the podcast. Gonna have to ride over one Sunday.
Hell
Did I say I was from Arkansas? I'm in the abyss of San Luis. LOL. I just wanted to hear it read in accent as it. Stay safe, Misfits.
He
Moto
gotcha.
Mike 805.
Hey, so here's the thing I discovered. So, I used to have my Harley Road King, which I really liked it. That bike was so comfortable. I could ride all day on that thing. But I discovered I could fit 2 dirt bikes in the same space as one Road King.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as you know, like dirt bikes are our currency here, right?
A
Totally.
little bit.
Yep. And also that Grom is so small, you could probably just like put that up on like a shelf or something in the garage and like park a bike underneath it or something. if
So
need be.
there are a couple tricks. First of all, have you guys seen there are those wheelie things you can ride your bike up onto, and then you can push it sideways and
Mhm.
park them together tighter.
Oh, like little
Yeah.
casters.
Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I just saw
Yeah,
that today. Like it's almost like the wheel holder things, whatever. But then they have 4 wheels on
Right.
each one,
Yeah.
and they pivot like on a caster.
Yeah, and it's exactly for that reason. So you can pull in and then slide the bikes
Yeah.
over to one side and get them
Yeah.
all tight.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, you
Um,
can get one with it's like a flat platform. It's a straight U channel, and then there's like 4 caster wheels on it,
Yeah.
and it's got a little pad
Ooh.
for the kickstand.
Mhm.
Just
That's
roll it up,
cool.
and you can just rotate it 360 or whatever it is you need.
Like a dolly, basically,
it's
right?
yeah, it's basically a motorcycle dolly.
That's like a do-it-yourself
Yeah.
version, though, huh?
You could probably make one yourself,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
ready with that.
The other thing is Costco tents.
Yeah.
They do a great
there's that
job.
too.
Or even some of us store bikes in a plastic shed.
Yeah.
What
Tough
was it
shed,
gonna be
yeah.
for? I have
Yeah.
a metal shed.
Oh, it's a
thank you very
metal
much.
shed. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
An old metal shed, like an old Sears metal
It's only
shed.
one bike.
Yeah, or there are even there's like fold up motorcycle garages. I don't even remember what they're called.
Yeah.
That's another option too.
So just put it in your living room, man, and be all
Yeah,
right.
it'll be the
You'll
coolest
good.
dude in
Hey,
town.
Put a wrap
Just-
in there somewhere.
Yeah, make sure it doesn't leak or put a pan underneath it, whichever,
exactly.
whichever works.
The other trick is if you have a buddy, you want to go half and half on with.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was one of the
Yeah.
early concepts of the garage.
Yeah.
I'd rather own 1/10 of 10 bikes than just one bike. And if you get a bunch of people who want to go in on it, that everyone kind of shares,
Yeah.
you know, just be a shareholder in this bike. Which, by the way, I think you need a dirt bike in there, a little dual sport.
Yeah. Maybe a scooter too, you know?
Maybe
like
a
buddy would
scooter.
be a great
Yeah,
little
she'd-
Hey,
she'd
in
be
there.
a
I'm holding strong and
motorosexual.
saying that buddy scooter was so much fun in the dirt.
You should get one, Liza. You really should. They're
Well, you
they're
still,
great
you don't have
bikes.
your Elite anymore, huh? You sold that thing a while ago.
No, I
there's a
haven't.
scooter
You
out
still
there.
have
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
The red Elite, the
Yeah, it's
250.
out there.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm tripping. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did. No, it was a lot of fun. So there are ways, but the biggest thing is sell the big bike and buy 2 small bikes. I think that's the
Yeah.
best advice.
Mhm.
What do you say,
And-
Jim?
And get a dual sport. Dual sports are like, I don't know why everybody doesn't have a dual sport.
I know.
Yeah, I
pretty
agree.
chill.
And also, if you are going to park a bike in the house, I would strongly recommend draining the fuel tank first and make sure that it is devoid of all fuel because you really don't want gas fumes inside the house.
Oh, you're no
Just-
fun, Bagel.
Just a pro tip.
Pro tip.
No fun. All right, we have time for one more, and this one is a good one.
All right. This is from Josh from Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I remember Josh coming in later in the weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he helped us pack up camp.
Yep.
Yep.
Josh
Harley.
is super chill. Yeah. That's right.
So he says, hello, Misfits, Cleveland Moto, and NoCo Moto. Rather than write separate emails, I decided to send a big thank you to you all.
Nice.
I haven't
Nice.
heard of AMA Vintage Days until having it discussed on various podcasts, and I was in the minority for a change on my Harley Electra Glide.
Which he rode all the way through all the gravel
Yeah.
to
Oh,
our
nice.
campsite. Yep.
The
Yep.
man
Yep.
did it. He did it.
Indeed.
This was a great event with so much cool stuff to see and do. It's the craziest event I've ever attended. Bikes and riders of all types and ages riding like it was the end of the world. These things best left unsaid so they continue in the years to come. It was great to attend a live podcast, and all of you are so welcoming in the campground. Great to hang out with all of you, hear stories, watch an epic burnout, and take a spin on a tiny SSR was so much fun. I first heard Liza speaking and recognized her voice. That happened a number of times.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows Liza's voice before anything else. After introducing myself to her and Knock, there was no hesitation about being invited back to the campgrounds. Saturday night, I met the rest of the crew, Phil and the Cleveland guys and Noko Moto, found out Bagel's family hails from Annville, Pennsylvania, which is 10 minutes down the road for
Indeed.
me. And he used to live about an hour from where I live. Such a small world at times.
Yep.
Indeed.
Liza, I was mistaken about my father's bike. I asked my parents, and my dad didn't remember right away, but my mom did. He had a Kawasaki KZ750.
That's what I said.
She remembered because she put new pipes ordered on it from JC Whitney. My dad thinks it was a 79, and my mom believes it was purple. I wish I could have inherited that bike.
Mhm.
Because of
Wow.
you, I had such a great weekend. Joined the AMA and visited their museum on Monday before heading home.
Nice.
My plan is to
Sweet.
attend next year's and take my vacation so I could camp rather than end up in a hotel like I did this time.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't there the entire time, and to get a hold of a light bike to beat to hell. If I could swing it next year, would you mind if I set up camp nearby?
No problem with me.
Nope.
Yeah.
Lastly, Miss Emma, I hope you're able to make it next year. It'd be awesome to meet you and hear that sexy accent in person. Best regards, Josh.
Oh, darling.
Yes, indeed.
Josh was a
Give me
cool
the
guy.
beans.
He was a-
I've been too busy fixing a Vincent Black shadow pen. Oh my word. Yeah, and it was the people like Josh
Yeah.
and Paul and there were so many of
Yeah.
them that just made us feel like we had a huge family there too.
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
I mean, we had a huge family with Nokomoto, Cleveland Moto guys, and then all these other people. It just felt like
it was amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
Just watch them come in and sit down and be part of the crowd and hang out and have a beer. And then more people would come after that. It was great.
Moral of the story is more people should listen to podcasts, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
More people should go to Mid Ohio.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, big thanks again to the AMA
Yep.
for putting on such a great event, for
Yes.
turning a blind eye to all
And-
the other things.
And pulling it off by the seat of their pants with like
Oh, yeah.
less than 2 months. That was amazing.
That was some
Oh, yeah. And
pretty
I
gangster
even,
shit.
I was, at one point, John and I just, we were trying to help out the On Any Sunday team to put
Pass
out
out
the word
flyers.
because no one knew where or when it was playing. It was like
Mhm.
Friday night at dusk. So they made up flyers, and I went out to find a printer, which I found in the race tower. And Steve,
Mhm.
who manages the track, I was just chatting with him, and he gladly helped us. He didn't ask us, "Who are we? What are we doing there?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "We need 50 flyers printed." He's like, "Okay," and he helped us. And I was just chatting with him. I'm like, I'm just curious, as Mid Ohio, not AMA, Mid Ohio, what do you think about all this lawlessness? And he goes, "Oh, we love it. This is a great event." I was like, "Wow,
Nice.
wow."
These are,
So
the free people of Ohio know what's going on. They know
yeah,
what's good.
big thanks to the Cleveland Moto crew.
Yeah. And I want to shout out Johnny Mac and Sleepy again.
Yeah, dude.
And Oscar.
And Oscar. Yeah. Those guys were just so
Super
welcoming.
chill.
And John, Johnny Mac cooked a
He
lot.
fed us. We ate
Yeah.
like raccoons.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was great to be with them. So thank you guys.
Yeah. I smoked
Yeah.
so many cigarettes, dog. It sucked, but it was awesome.
Thanks to the Nokomoto guys,
For keeping us
Swiggy and
entertained.
MotoGP for
Yes.
keeping us entertained. Thanks to the Louis Van guys down in the party corner
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
yeah.
just making it even more.
Yep.
Great event, loved it. But most of all, thank you to all of our listeners
Oh yeah.
and for helping to make it a great event for us,
Not
and
possible
to our
without you.
Patreon subscribers.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, we did a little video. I'm going to be sharing that soon. Just a great
Does it
event.
include the naked burnout?
So
May
I've
or
got
may
video of
not. It may
I
or may
already
not.
posted a short clip of the naked burnout. I'm keeping out certain things,
parts.
certain things.
Mm.
But I can't
Probably a
prevent
wise
John from
decision.
posting his version.
Oh, I'm putting it up. Pete, you're gonna be famous, brother.
Yeah.
You'll, the authorities will have other identifying marks that you could. Use.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. What a great time. And thanks to Emma for running the garage
Yep.
while we were gone and for hosting a great event that we went to today, the grand opening of Mototown.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
But
And
I
thank
think-
Emma for saving my bacon on the iron, but
I know. So there you go. I think we got all the thanks out. So
Yes, yes.
I guess
I like how
we're-
she's always involved in anything
Oh.
that we do.
Yes.
It's awesome.
I know. Well, at one point when I was just riding a scooter by, I think over near the dirt area,
Mm.
somebody went, "Go get it, Emma," to me. I'm like, okay, well,
Close.
they
enough.
knew I was one of them. They just didn't
Yeah.
know which one.
Right.
They choose their
Enough.
favorite. I know. So there you have it. So plan on going to AMA Vintage Days next year. Join the AMA.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Do
This
it.
is their big fundraiser. They do a lot of great things for us.
Yeah.
And if you're in South Dakota, stop at the Chalet Inn in Custer.
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
best place.
it's wonderful.
It's the coolest rock shop right across the street. Swear to God, I never thought I'd say that in my life.
And then finally, wear your mask.
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
It's the return, bro.
It is
the
a
Delta
return of the
variant.
mask.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
get vaccinated, please.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
So I guess
Do
that's
everything you
it.
can.
You guys, now I'm like, I'm just here for 4 weeks until I leave for Pakistan. But boy, that was two weekends in a row at Laguna Seca, and then this Mid Ohio. I'm just like,
Mhm.
woo!
Do we slam at the motorcycle?
Summertime.
Woo!
It's summertime.
Motorbikes. Motorbikes.
Get it while you can.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, let's get out of here. Thanks everyone for listening. This is Liza.
Stumpy John.
I'm a stupid bitch.
Yeah. I'm with stupid.
Bagel.
And we are out of
And
here.
little.
Cool.
Cool.
Bye.
Oh.
Oh.